Hey everyone, Alex here back again. I know I don't normally do long videos on here, but I figured for my mid-year reading wrap up, it's only fair. I was going to do the mid-year reading tag that I've seen going around, but honestly there were a few of the questions I didn't have answers for, so I didn't want to jump on a tag and not be able to answer all the questions. So yeah, I'm going to do like a mid-year reading wrap up, and then as well hopefully give you some quick insights as to what I hope to achieve by the end of the year. So I don't know, for those of you that do have me on Goodreads, my reading goal this year is 52 books. So roughly about a book a week. I've been averaging that so far. Um, I'm up to, well, I'm actually up to 28 books as of when I'm recording this. And working on my 29th, which is also a book on my 26 of 2026 books, Alchemized, Sen Lin Yu. I am 394 pages in, so any other normal book would be finished, but yeah, this is obviously a really long book. It's over 1,000 pages. So far it's a little on the slow side for me personally, but obviously being a long book, I was expecting it, so I'm sticking with it, because I don't want to have another instance with Catabasis where I DNF'd it because I wasn't into it. But yeah, so far I am somewhat enjoying Alchemized. Now that I'm in part 2 of the book, it has got a bit better. I mean, you can tell how much I'm enjoying it, because look at the front, you can see the gold lettering is kind of coming away a little bit, which is good. In a way, shows you how much I'm enjoying it. But yeah, obviously that book took the internet by storm at the end of last year, in like October, November time, and even early parts of this year. It was taking the internet by storm. So I'm reading it. It's on my 26th of 2026, and I think the only reason I'm reading it is because I am about 3 books ahead of my reading schedule. And because that book's probably going to take me the majority of the month, I've got a couple shorter books that I hope to get to as well in the month of July here. One being, of course, a Stephen King read, which is, I've picked The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon because it's really short. I mean, we're looking at 200 and maybe 19-ish pages. Yeah, so that one will be a good one to read. Which I'm really hoping to get to. Again, I've picked some short ones because Alchemized is going to take me the majority of July probably. And then also Nick Hornby, A Long Way Down, which I've had for a few months since the last time I read one of his books, which was High Fidelity. I finished that back in February. And I enjoyed that one. So yeah, I'd like to read another one of his books. So I've picked up this one from my local free library, and hopefully I can get around to it in the month of July. Obviously, it wouldn't be a reading wrap up. Well, that's what I've got planned for July. Obviously, I'd love to finish my 26 of 2026, which so far I've read 7 of those books. Not very good progress, is it? I mean, you can see one of them probably around. Oh, you'll see one in this video, sorry. But you can see one book there, The Institute, that's on my 26th of 2026. The rest are all scattered around this bookshelf and the bookshelf upstairs. And you can probably see a couple here, like Dune. The Book Thief is on my 26th of 2026. Lock Every Door by Riley Sager, and I'm probably sitting in front of a couple more here as well. But yeah, this is going to be one of those. I'm probably going to try and focus mainly on that 26 of 2026, but I am, of course, a mood reader, so if I'm not in the mood for something, I'm probably not going to pick it up at that moment. But I do I have managed to, like I said, read 7 books off that list so far. And having read 28 books, I do happen to have a top 5 so far, which isn't a true top 5 because there would be 2 books from the same author in that list, but I tried to stick to just 1 book from each. So I have got The Wastelands by Stephen King as an honorable mention because there is a Stephen King book I liked just a little bit more. But before I get to that top 5, I do have one book I want to talk about, which I did read last month, and I briefly talked about it in my most recent short video. But that book's The Housemaid, read by Freida McFadden. So yeah, I've read Ward D from her as well. So this was my second book from her. And although I gave it 4 stars, I really wasn't feeling this book at first. It took about 200 pages before I really started getting into it, wherever part 2 starts in this book. Yeah, 101 page there, so about page 191. Which is still quite far into a book to not be enjoying it, but yeah, I wasn't feeling this one at first, and then the tonal shift happened in the second part of this one that changed my mind. But it's probably not going to be a book I'm going to reread. I've got a few more of her books that I like to try and get to, but she's not going to be one of those authors that I don't gravitate to, she's not going to be one of those authors I gravitate towards. I think she's going to have some books that I'm not going to want to read. I know that she's one of the more popular thriller authors, but there's going to be some drawbacks to her writing, considering she pumps out like 4 or 5 books a year. But I still thought this one was okay. But yeah, I've got some other books from her I want to read. But out of the 2 I've read, that one is so far my least favourite. Ward D I liked a little bit more, but that was still a fairly decent book. I've actually got a little book haul here as well to show you. These are just 4 books I've picked up recently because I've sort of put myself on a book buying ban for 2026, and most of my books this year have come from my local free libraries. But yeah, I do have some that I've picked up. This one is actually from the free library, and then the rest are ones I've bought. So, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I wanted to read this one and the rest of the trilogy, but I wanted to find the first book, and I only ever find it with the movie cover, with the Daniel Craig movie cover, and I've never seen this one. So, from my local free library, really, really good pickup. I kind of know the basic concept behind this one, but it's a book I've always wanted to read, so grabbed it, brought it home, and at one point I'll probably check it out. The Enemy by Lee Child. I have wanted to dive back into the Jack Reacher series for quite some time, but haven't really known where to start. And although this is like the 8th book he published in that series, chronologically it's the first one, so I might just start here and read this one before I read the rest. I hear good things about that one. Home Seeking by Carissa Chen, which is a book from last year that I hear some really interesting things about, and I'd love to check it out. So that might be one that jumps towards the front of the TBR. And also, I finally picked up King Zorro for the Joe Hill collection, because I have Nosferatu, you probably see them over here, The Fireman and Strange Weather, and I have Heart-Shaped Box up on the very top shelf, which you can't see because it's a paperback, but that's also on my 26 of 2026. And although I'm probably not going to read this one in 2026, it's nice to finally pick it up because it was really cheap actually all of them were really cheap, about £3-4 each maybe, if that. Obviously other than the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, because that was from my free library. But yeah, anyway, digressing here. Top 5 time, let's get to that, because that's probably why you guys are here. As I said at the top of the video, The Drawing of the Three from Stephen King would be on this list, but I've narrowed it down to one book per author, and there was one book I liked just a little bit more. So coming in at number 5, a book I did not expect to like as much as I did is The Nightingale from Kristin Hannah. This one, obviously set in is it World War II? Yep. It's two sisters, and it just tells their separate stories, how they start together, they go their separate ways, and I just love how everything plays out. And yeah, definitely a book I enjoyed way more, and an author that I will definitely be reading more from. I do have a copy of the women there to read at some point as well. But yeah, I'd love to check out more from Kristin Hannah. This one was just a really good story, so definitely a good place to start from her, because it's where I started, so being a bit biased, but yeah, that was a very good read. Number 4 is actually the first book I read of this year, and that's The Revenant by Michael Punk. This one, very, very good story. If you've seen the movie, you pretty much know the concept. Hugh Glass, the main character in this one, mauled by a bear and left for dead by his comrades. They steal from him because they believe he's going to die, and then he makes it his mission to track them down and seek revenge. It's a very good revenge story. Loved this one. Thought it was really, really good. And yeah, other than The Nightingale, which I gave 4.5 stars, all of these books were 5 stars for me. Even The Drawing of the Three was a 5 star. So 5 5-star books out of 28 is not too bad. But yeah, The Revenant is going to be in number 4 for this one, just because it's the first book I read of the year, and I like to start my reading years out with a 5-star read, and I've been pretty good at doing that the last couple of years. But number 3 is Wild Dark Shore, another book that took the internet by storm last year. Did it come out in 2025? It did. But yeah, this one, really good story. Obviously follows this family. This woman washes up on shore, and they sort of take her in and look after her. And while this, but she realizes that she's not the only one on the island who has a secret, because she's gone to that island searching for her husband, basically. I won't go into too much detail because I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, this one had me on the edge of my seat. It's under 300 pages as well, so you can get through it pretty quickly. But I'll definitely be reading more books from her, because yeah, Charlotte Mahoney? I think is how you pronounce that. I'm probably butchering that, but that was a really good story. So number 2, surprisingly, Stephen King is not number 1. He's going to be number 2 instead, The Dead Zone. I loved this story. I thought it was very, very good, very compelling. Obviously, it follows the character of Johnny Smith, who has an accident when he's younger that gives him these powers that he touches somebody and he can pretty much see their future. So there's a little bit of sci-fi in there, but there's also political drama in this one, and one of the few examples, at least of the ones I've read, that where Stephen King writes a romance subplot really, really well. So if you're into that, definitely check out The Dead Zone. So far, it's in my top 5 Stephen King books. That could change over time, but I really did enjoy The Dead Zone from him. But of course, there is one book I liked just a little bit more than that, and I might even consider this one a 6-star read. It was just that good. That's of course Morning Star from Pierce Brown. I have really been enjoying this series. I've only read the first 3 books, and I would love to read the other 3 books in the series: Iron Gold, Dark Age, and Lightbringer. I don't have copies of those, but yeah, when I can finally get them, I will read them, finish this series, because so far this has been one of my favourite series. It's very rare that I'll like binge read a series like this, but I made it my mission to do so, and I'm glad I did, because this obviously follows directly on from the cliffhanger that left you in the previous book. And yeah, this one's just very, very good, and you following these characters for 3 books now, and this one's what ends that original trilogy. Before Pierce Brown decided to carry the story on into 3 more books, and I believe there's a 7th book coming out at some point. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But yeah, no, I've really enjoyed this story, and I cannot wait to dive back into this series at some point in the hopefully not too distant future. But if it ends up being distant, then we'll see how it goes. But yeah, guys, that's my mid-year reading wrap up. I know it's probably not the most professional one out there, and probably not the best one you'll see, but just a few books I wanted to talk about, what my plan is for July, few recent pickups, yeah, just sharing with you what's what in my book world. But yeah, again, if there's anything you think I should read that you can see behind me, definitely recommend it. I know there's 2 full shelves of Stephen King, which this top shelf of Stephen King is all the ones I've read. Then there's another shelf of ones I haven't read, other than these 2, because they've overspilled into the next shelf down. So yeah, let me know what books I should read at some point. Obviously, I'd want to try and mainly focus on my 26 of 2026, because I have only read 7 books on that list. But I am working on my 8th book, as I said, with Alchemized. So yeah, let me know. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Sorry again if I've rambled a little bit in this video, but that's what we do here, isn't it? We talk books, and some of us talk books a little bit too much. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you all again next time. Bye!